If you are in sales and you want to close more deals this year, then this video is for you. So I'm going to share some tips and tricks and just the advice that I follow when it comes to sales to help me increase my close rate. So first and foremost, I've always had a genuine curiosity in other people, which I strongly believe helps me when it comes to sales, because the number one thing that I go in with is you can always learn something from anyone that you're speaking to, right? So I go in with that curious mindset of like, okay, what is it that I can learn from this person, and what is it that, they can learn from me? So I always live by this saying that I guess I have created, is that I always want to leave a conversation with the other person having some sort of value out of that conversation, right? So that's the first and foremost thing I think I just have. Second would be just going in with no expectations. So it's okay if you don't close the sale. It's okay if they say yes. It's okay if they say, I want to think about it. Just go in with zero expectations. The third thing when it comes to sales is it's going to be really important that you go in with the mindset of this conversation is all going to be about them, their needs, and their goals. They shouldn't even know about you within your first or second conversation. They can maybe get to know you at the end of the second conversation into the third conversation, but your goal is to truly just make all of this all about them and their needs, because at the end of the day, people want to be understood. They don't really want to take the time to understand you. And I know it's like a little hurtful to hear that, but at the end of the day, that is reality. They are speaking to you because they are struggling with something and they want to be felt heard, and they want to, vent to someone or find a solution for that problem, hence why they are coming to you in the first place. Tip number 4. When it comes to sales, your ultimate goal is to help them make the best decision for themselves, even if that means not working with you and working with someone else. That is okay, because at the end of the day, that will help them feel like, oh wow, that person actually really cared about me. I felt understood. They listened to my needs, and they weren't really being pushy when it comes to sales. They, walk through all the offers and options with me. Sometimes what I like to do is, if I know that they're going to speak to like 2-3 other people, what I do is I'll be like, hey, I'm more than happy to actually sit down with you and take a look at the offers and proposals you got from the other individuals to kind of make sure that even what they're seeing with you aligns with your goals and values. Just that little, piece of advice and help that you offer them can mean the world, because at the end of the day, they can sense that, hey, this person is genuine and they are actually helping me make the best decision for myself. Tip number 5 is going to be watch your tonality and your body language. So we'll start with tonality first. So there's various different tones that you can use. Obviously, when you're happy, you're going to use a happy tone. When you're sad, you're going to use a sad tone. When you're angry, you're going to use an angry tone. And these are horrible tones that I'm doing right now, but you get the point, right? So my favorite tone when it comes to sales and stuff that I've just really learned from my mentors is to use the curious tone, which goes back to tip number 1 about genuinely being curious about the other person. And then second will be the confused and concerned tone. So, if they're like, hey, I spent $42,000 in marketing and did not see any result, and true story, that has happened before, and I've come across a prospect who said that, and I was genuinely so baffled. I was like, wait, what? Hold on, you spent $42,000 and you didn't see anything? Like, how? Can you help me understand that? Like, walk me through what happened? You hear that? So that is genuinely like, I'm confused, I'm concerned, and it's saying that, hey, this is not okay and you need to do something about it. So tonality is very important. My other piece of advice is body language. So oftentimes, when you're in a conversation with someone may be like hands crossed, or they may be looking up at the sky. That means like they could be thinking about something. Hands crossed could mean like they're a bit closed off, they're uncomfortable, they don't really know who you are, which is completely natural because you are a stranger. And then you actually have like, they have jewelry and stuff, necklaces, like doing that, fidgeting. So that can mean they are nervous. So it's really important to pay attention to these signs because they will tell you a lot. My favorite is actually the hands crossed. So every call I get on, practically 80% of the people, they all have their hands crossed, which obviously tells me like, okay, this person doesn't know me yet, they're uncomfortable. My goal is going to be towards the end of the call, I want them, instead of being like this, to be arms open, wide, expressive, and really passionate about what they're talking about. And you can get to that level by asking them the right questions, by showing them that you're genuinely curious in their subject and topic that they're speaking about, and then obviously watching your tonality whenever you are speaking. But it is because once you know that you've gotten them from the hands crossed to the arms open, then you know like, okay, you've lowered their guard and this person is now comfortable speaking to me, and we've kind of developed in our relationship that we are building. The last tip I'm going to leave you with is going to be practicing. Sales is a skill that can be built upon, and you will always need to be improving it, getting better and better day by day, and that happens by practicing every single day. What I mean by practicing is you can role play with people. I know there's a lot of communities out there that you can join. One of your friends is willing to role play with you, but role play some conversations. Objection handling and practicing is going to be really important. So when you're in those role plays, cover how you can handle the "it's too expensive" objection, "I don't have the time right now" objection. So you're going to want to keep practicing every single day. You could honestly do it yourself as well in front of a mirror. I've done that plenty of times. I like to actually do it while I'm driving. I'll like run through conversations and objections in my head, or if I'm like waiting for someone and in like a buffer time period, then I'll just like be practicing on my own. But practice. I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, but I know I can get there because I am practicing every single day, and I'm actually speaking to tons of people every single day, which is going to help me better my sales. And lastly, like, the best way to get better is honestly to ask for feedback. And I used to be really scared to ask for feedback because I would be like embarrassed that, I wasn't good enough, or embarrassed of just like how I spoke to the person, or what like my coach would think of this conversation. But honestly, like, getting over that fear and embarrassment was the best decision ever, because at the end of the day, the feedback that you will get, yes, it can be brutally honest, and you sometimes don't want to hear that. However, it is the only way that you are going to reach that goal that you want to achieve. You're going to, reach that $1 million business, or you're going to get that dream car, whatever, right? Like, you need to hear that feedback, because that feedback is coming from someone who is in a much better position than you, and maybe in a position of where you already want to be. So they will point out certain stuff in your conversations and calls. And once you go ahead, you review your calls. For example, athletes, football players, tennis players, they rewatch their gameplay constantly. So that's what you want to be doing with your sales calls. You want to be reviewing all of them, see where you went wrong, see like, oh, I could have used a different tone there. Oh, this is that objection. Like, you want to be reviewing, ask for feedback, implement that feedback. That is going to be the most important, because if you're not implementing the feedback, then at the end of the day, you're just not going to get better. So these are a couple tips that I've learned throughout my sales journey so far, and if you like this video, then make sure to subscribe, and if there's anything else you want to see in the future about sales, maybe how I handle certain objections and how I go about my specific process when it comes to sales, then leave a comment down below and I'm more than happy to make that video. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.